Hmm. This is such a nice frequency. Hello. This is High Priestess Jamila during the witching hour. I apologize. I was actually supposed to be here like probably over an hour ago, but I had to basically get my son to sleep. Which is kind of what brought this discussion up, in my mind, at least, as far as what my spirits are telling me is going on with interdimensional beings, demons, spirits, um, and kind of what's going on. So, I my son has been having. First of all, my youngest son is one of the most sensitive people that I know. If you look at his astrological chart, he has Pisces, 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 all Pisces in his chart. So this is a very, very sensitive child. And so I have picked up on him being psychically attacked, um, and things of that nature. So here's the thing. Children that have spiritual gifts are often very misunderstood. In fact, a lot of times their parents will sometimes get so, what's the word that I'm looking for? Sometimes their parents will just get so like frustrated that you don't know what to do because you feel like you are watching your child behave in a way and you're helpless, and you feel like, when you see those attacks come in, when they have those meltdowns. I personally do not believe in autism. I think that I think it's BS. I don't believe in any of these psychiatric things that they claim is taking place in the brain and all that stuff. I believe that what's happening around all of us is spiritual. I believe that whatever is happening in your spirits is what's going to be happening in your brain, which, yeah, I guess doctors can diagnose that, but at the end of the day, okay, When you are a seer, you can see these things happening in real time. So we've got children who are being diagnosed with autism, schizophrenia, and things like that. But in reality, they are being attacked by spirits. And then they also are being attacked by negative frequencies and energy. So I had to put him to sleep. Literally, it was a battle trying to get him to sleep tonight. And because he needed to get his rest, he was very, very tired. I've got a couple of cowards that actually try to psychically attack Jacob on a regular basis, and trust me, they being dealt with. Okay, if you psychically attacking my kid, you gonna get dealt with. Anyway, y'all. So, but that's gonna be a part of the discussion that we're gonna have. But let's start at what is an interdimensional being? What is an interdimensional demon? An interdimensional demon is something that you would not agree to have in your personal space. And some people do agree to have demons in their personal space. Some people do, because some people worship demons, okay? According to the Christians, everybody is worshiping demons, but in reality, Christians are the most demonic. So, when I be seeing people, I don't know. I was kind of disappointed in young Pharaoh because he's, his sometimes when he speaks about certain things, it sounds very Christian or Catholic or and I want us to be careful because y'all got to understand that religion is a concept and an ideal that was created by man. It was not created by nature. It's not even the true living God. These are stories that are made up by man. Okay. Now, we can make those particular deities and beings powerful by giving them power. Okay. So, power is all about the power that you give to something. Okay. Um, Going back to what I was saying, let me make sure y'all not in the chat because I don't like to ignore y'all. I know probably a lot of my viewers are asleep, the ones that were probably expecting me earlier, but hopefully Spirit will wake you up for this one. Okay. So, and if you're watching through the playback, I appreciate the support. And, so anyway, an interdimensional being is something that should not exist in your realm. Okay. Now, I do believe that the globalists or the elite or whoever you want to call them, the people that's doing a lot of the evil, I do believe that they have created technology to make it easier for us to be more susceptible. Okay. Wow. Y'all see how they just tried to mess up my stream? They just tried to interrupt my stream, y'all. That's so weird. But I switched over to the Wi-Fi. Okay. So yeah, if I started buffering, I'm back. So basically, here's the deal spiel with all of this is that an interdimensional being, what I was saying, let's start back with that. An interdimensional being is something that should not exist. They took down our protection. Okay. Now, it has nothing to do with our well, okay. I was about to say that wrong. Especially for those of you that are spiritually gifted. I do believe that in order for you to be subject to experimentation by these beings, you have to be of a certain bloodline. Okay. So I feel like it depends on the bloodline. Now, this is where when I do bloodline hex removers, this is what my spirits want you to know. When I do a bloodline hex remover, okay, let me share this and let y'all know that I'm back because I think that y'all think that yeah, hold on. I'm back. Okay, guys, so this is a live stream that I'm doing right now, and I'm actually going to go grab me some coffee real quick and kind of ramble a little bit till I come back and get into what I want to get into. But I want to give y'all a few minutes to come back in to make sure that this stream is not dead because they may have killed my stream. And what we'll do is we'll just come right back. Okay, so give me a second. They trying to wake up Jacob too. They so codependent. They love to mess with our kids. Alrighty. What phone did you use, son? Excuse me. Okay, you guys, I'm back. So, they've been doing everything in their power to break down our protection. And you know what your protection is? Your protection is with the divine. Your protection is with the divine and your contact with your spirit guides and your contact with that spiritual energy that you need from your guardians and your protectors. Okay? Um so that's how they do it. Okay? Now, many people that have, manifested themselves on this earth have pretty much forgot the source that they came from. A lot of people have forgotten that source. If you're someone that hasn't forgotten that source, then you have a better chance of surviving the spiritual warfare that we're dealing with right now. So as I was saying, let me get my so it goes by according to your bloodline. And for those of you that have the ability to see them and to communicate with them, so what they've done is they have infiltrated our gateway, our connection. So the way that you do that is through your mind, through your body, and your spirit. The way that you communicate with your source of power, source of protection, source of whatever it is that you're doing, your source of energy. So what they've done is they have found a way inside of us through our spiritual gifts. So they're using our spiritual gifts against us. This is something they've been doing for a very, very, very long time, going all the way back even before Christianity. Okay, Christianity was just an example of that. For example, when they instructed people to kill all psychics and all mediums, because psychic mediums could potentially be dangerous because they can be open and susceptible to these demons. So this was a preventative measure spiritually, which we have all found out that just because you cut it off don't mean that it's right. The way that our society generally deals with spiritual issues is that instead of dealing with it, learning from it, overcoming it, what we do as a collective, this is the way spirit sees it, is that it's almost like circumcision. It's almost like cutting your breast off so that you can prevent breast cancer. Same difference. Okay, so that's what they're doing. It's like a preventative, and I'm not saying that it's anything wrong with cutting your breasts off. You can do whatever you want to do, but I still think that it's a good analogy that I'm using as far as the way that we are handling things spiritually, and you can't handle spiritual stuff that way. You can't. That's a totally backwards and weak way of dealing with what we're dealing with spiritually, because most people are very afraid of their own power. They're scared of it. When they feel that power rising up inside of them, it scares the shit out of them because it's an unfamiliar feeling. Because instead of you putting the power in someone else's hands, now it's on you. What are you going to do? But anyway, going back to what I was saying, because I want to specifically deal with educating you guys about what these interdimensional beings are doing and why I am constantly under attack, why my children are under attack, why it's such a big deal, why, YouTube kind of hides me in the algorithm, why they work so hard to suppress my message and then to tell you to not listen to me. Okay. So it goes according to your bloodline and then also your destiny. If you have a destiny on this earth to be destroyed by these demons, and it's obvious that they're destroying you, because what those demons will do is they will use people. Now, this is where you got to look at self and take into account, where the hell are you? If you are somebody that is attacking people, and innocent people especially, if you're somebody attacking innocent people, then you are on the unfortunate side of that experiment, is what I will tell you. So I want to warn all family and friends and people that I care about, you better pay attention to your spirits, and you better pay attention to your thought processes and what it is that you're doing, and it's time for you to wake up. Now, the last time these demons attacked, they stopped temporarily. They kind of went into remission a little bit. They're almost like a cancer. They kind of went into remission. And that is because they didn't conceive or perceive a threat. When they start to perceive a threat, guess what that threat is? That threat is you waking up and becoming powerful and standing in your own power. That is what they are afraid, because if you use your power for your purpose, then they will have nothing to feed on. But they've set up all kind of traps. Oh, let's discriminate against women because they're women. Now, they got women and children, or at least they think they do. Okay. Now, you've got to have permission from the parent, not the grandparent, the parent. Okay. So many of you, when you are suffering from generational hexes, you are either going to be, I would say, um, many of you are about 3 feet deep. Many of you are 5 feet deep in the rabbit hole of what I know is happening with generational hexes. Generational hexes is this. Simply, it's your bloodline. It's your, it's the and it's not just the physical bloodline that's on this earthly plane, but they all connect with each other. Okay. So for example, if you are someone that comes from a bloodline that, everybody in the family has these spiritual gifts, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I've came across some pretty talented people in my travels. I've look, I done dealt with some witches that can cause you to get a black eye overnight. Very amazing. I clap my hands to them. But guess what? The fact that you would even do that to another human being shows that you are affected by demons. You're using your power for evil. So if you do come from certain bloodlines that possess those powers, please believe that they have made certain deals on this planet to where you can't just use, because you may go crazy one day and be corrupted, and that wouldn't be fair to the next person for you to just be able to kill that person, would it? So it's regulated magic and energy. Your energy is being regulated. Absolutely. Okay. So what they do is they attach themselves to certain bloodlines. If you are out there and you are using your power for your own purpose, then guess what? They lost. They lost you as an energy source. You see what I'm saying? So, this is the reason why many of you became the black sheep of the family. Now, let me explain to you the black sheep of the family. The black sheep is a nice, I guess, politically correct term of saying that the rest of your family is demonically possessed. Not all of them, because some of them going to be talking sensible. Those are the ones that are blessed. The ones that are harassing, stalking, doing the bidding and the work of these demons, they are so basically you're the black sheep because you stick out. Why do you stick out? Well, this goes back to the term, "are all men created equal?" Not really. So just because you was created in within that family or that bloodline, and many of y'all got shapeshifter families. Some of y'all got fairy families. I know that the fae runs very deep in my family. Okay, the fae. Some of y'all got master psychic skills to the point where you can see anybody, anytime, any place, unless they're uh, unless they cast an invisibility spell on themselves. And them invisibility spells are those are good. Okay, I'm actually going to put I'm going to put that up on the website because I've used them and they work. You got to have certain herbs though to make it work. I noticed that the herbs definitely do help because a lot of our manifestation power is being compromised. It is. And so anyway, what will happen is that if you've got these spiritual gifts in your family, then you're going to have a couple of different people that are going to be interested in you. First of all, you're going to have the sort of, we want to call them the men in black, the CIA, the whoever they are. You know what I'm saying? These are the top secret, I guess the government or whatever. And they know all of us. Trust me. They know us all. They watch us all, especially me. They watch me a lot. They constantly watching me. It's kind of confusing, because they know my brain. They've been studying me since I was born, and they've been studying you. Okay. Hey, Hydra Mula. Hello. Good morning. And into the dawn. Good morning. I'm glad you guys came in. Hit that thumbs up for me. So continuing to break this down for y'all. Okay. There's also the demons. The demons is interested. This is the reason why when you have a baby, everybody talking about it. If you are a spiritual person that's about to give birth, people are going to get scared because they want to know what the hell you giving birth to. They want to know what it is. What kind of power is this child going to possess? And especially depending on who the father is. So this is one of the reasons why we've got this dynamic, and they've been experimenting because they want to see how far they can take it. Now, the divine feminine is going to be very important in this because If one entity feels that your child being born is going to harm their position in life, then they can try to take your kid out. So y'all got to understand that for the way that they have simplified it, it's much more complicated than that. And even though a lot of you may be thinking that you're looking at just some ghetto ignorant stuff, you're actually seeing the breakdown and you're seeing it happen in real time. This is why this is important to suppress the woman. But right now, we see what they want to do is they want to stop women from giving birth to these children who are going to be powerful from the day they are born. I mean, this next generation of kids coming up, I mean, they don't stand a chance. See, the divine feminine is going to make a huge difference in this because she's going to give birth to either the death or the liberation of the human race. And so that's why they want to regulate every woman's uterus. They want to, and they doing all that crazy stuff trying to control the population. They do it all the time. Some of y'all that have suffered miscarriages and things like that, the reason why you went through that is because that baby was going to be a problem, was going to step on somebody's toes. Please believe that when you're doing your spiritual work, you have to include the future. We are traveling through time, traveling back and forth through time all the time. And now, this is what I want to tell you. We are supposed to be past the whole religious thing, the whole sexism thing, and then the racism thing. So what they've done is they have sort of put us all under a spell of past life transgression. So that's why we are experiencing slavery again, feeling enslaved. Okay, not all of us, because I mean, if I ever feel enslaved, I'm gonna do a road opener. No, Jamila don't have time for those feelings. Okay, yeah, but it all leads up to one thing and it does have a lot to do with our energy. They don't, and it's certain people. So, for example, when I remove a generational curse, a lot of people think that I'm just doing some BS and some boo boo. No, I am actually speaking to that demon that holds the contract to your family. Some of them are snarling and some of them they come in many different forms. I've seen imps, I've seen trolls, I've seen fire demons, I've seen water demons, I've seen demons that you can't see. They think you can't see them, but you can actually see them. And here's the thing, once you have decided, okay, and I don't suggest just going and doing that. I feel like you got to at least be under the care of a practitioner, or either you've got to have some really, really good spirits around you, because at the time that I faced this demon, it almost killed me. I felt a sharp pain in my heart chakra the day that I did the my very first generational hex remover. And I um I felt this feeling in my heart. But right afterwards, it unblocked me. Now that's not to say that the same thing is gonna happen to you. Okay, that's not to say that. But I've noticed that whenever a hex is being broken, you'll get things like diarrhea, headaches, you know, certain areas of your body. You'll notice stigmatas will come up in your body, bruises, scratches, dents. All of a sudden a dent will just show up somewhere. Okay. And so these demons do actually use our ignorance and our stupidity against us all the time. And so this is the reason why one person that they are using heavily, but you can tell because, you know, is Tila Tequila. They're really using her hardcore. But because everything is so out there in the open, I went over there and looked at a couple of her videos and she's saying pop, pop for Jesus. She talking about shooting people for Jesus. Okay. So they use certain religions, they use racism, the differences in the color of our skin, which is stupid because we're all beautiful. How many times does the divine mommy have to tell you that? But if you are a demon, you're going to choose to go for that lower stuff so that you can affect things on a higher realm. So that's how they're able to affect things and people that are on a higher realm, because what they'll do is they'll go through certain things and they will use people. They will use human beings just like vessels to attack you. Okay? They'll use your children. They'll use your husband or your wife. And if you don't have the proper things put into place, and if you're not paying attention, for example, a drastic change in behavior of either your child or either somebody that you know, these are signs of demonic possession. Okay, all of those are signs of demonic possession. Now what I want to tell you is that hey Rainbow Raspity. So, good question. Good question. Into the Dawn asks, are generational curses contracts made by our ancestors or parents? Yes, and then no. So, let me just tell you, first of all, they use mind control a lot. No parent or grandparent within their right mind is going to actually, unless it is the will, unless you have a grandparent that is just evil. It's a possibility. But this is the way that that works. It starts it started so many generations ago that a lot of this information has been lost, but we see it manifesting within our families. For example, let's say that your family, you come from a family that was very spiritually ignorant. And through that spiritual ignorance, because if your spirits ain't right, if you don't have your spirits right, you're not going to manifest nothing. If you don't have connection, you're not. Okay, you're not going to manifest what you want. And that's the way that it's been set up for a very long time. Okay, I think that's just the way that it is, because that's what we are essentially. Is our spirits, and especially our cosmic nature. But when it comes to the actual contracts, are the grandparents and parents doing it? Yes, they did do it out of fear. They did it out of fear. It was forced up on us. Okay, if you had a choice between you either conform to this or I'm going to blow your head off, I'm going to kill your children. What would you do? Would you would you agree with that person at that time if somebody has a gun to your child's head, or if somebody's threatening to do something to your family? You're going to agree. So they use violence, they use fear, and they reinforce that fear with violence is what they did. Okay. Now when we fast forward to the year 2020, the divine mother and the father, I will give the father credit, we've made a lot of strives forward in coming out of that mentally, but the problems and issues are still. The government does have something to do with it, but I think that it goes a lot deeper than that. I think that the government um can actually here. They are interrupting my stream again. What am I gonna do? If it does that again, I'm gonna switch over to a different I think I'm just gonna top up my 4G data. If it does that again, because this internet connection should be strong enough, because normally when I go live I use my 4G because Yeah, sometimes the internet here can be kind of slow. So the way that it's working through your families and the contracts and stuff, let's go ahead and get into that. Um, Again, yes, some of your family members are corrupted. Absolutely. For example, if you have either a father, a mother, a brother, or a sister, and they are reinforcing that oppression, and they are not allowing you to do what serves your divine purpose in life, okay? Because that's what the main people, what 90% of my complaints are from clients. Oh, my mother and my brother called up to my job. They got me fired. My family won't let me go anywhere in life. I feel like every time I try to get somewhere, they trying to pull me back. And it's the people that you are supposed to trust the most, which is the saddest ever, is when you actually have family members that, yeah, they will. And it is because they are demonically possessed. Now, they do have a choice. So, what they do is they will keep trying to recreate a contract. Yes, they will. If you have somebody like that that is doing that in your family, please believe that they're going to reap what they sow. They're going to reap what they sow. Please believe so. But you still do have to do the spiritual work, because at the end of the day, for any of this to be going on, it's got to be a demon that's holding the contract. So when you have a spiritualist that is doing work for you, stop thinking that this is about just lighting a candle. In fact, I'm going to stop sending people pictures of their candles, because the spiritual work that I'm doing, yes, the candle is involved, but it's not just the candle work. Okay, we have to rewrite your contract. We have to sometimes, create, manifest the contract and then burn it. So, this is the reason why we do a lot of the stuff that we do in our spiritual practices and stuff. I guess, however deal with the spirit. And because, see, this is the whole thing. Many of you guys, the demon is gone. You're just simply still behaving this way because this is the only kind of behavior that you know. So a lot of the times, even though you get rid of the contract, the person is still going to be kind of messed up because they don't know any other kind of way to behave. So yes, these demons are destroying people's families. Now, I'm gonna tell you something as a mother, and I had to get reminded of that. As a mother, you are the key. You have to be the strongest. You have to hold things together, because you are the one that possesses the compassion and the nurturing, and you shouldn't be abandoning your family. I know it can be so hard if you ever get to the point where you feeling like abandoning your family, your children, because you just can't deal with it. And we all go through those periods where you be like, oh God, please help me. I can't, help me. And then God will show up and help you. But there's some people that they just can't deal with it. They completely, go into a psychosis of to where, but they want to protect themselves. But as a mother, I would not be able to live with myself if I didn't do all that I could to keep my family together and to protect my children. But some of your mothers, they feel like it, they like, well, I didn't like your daddy anyway, so what am I gonna what am I gonna go through all this for you for? Who are you? Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. As a mother, that child is your responsibility, not the father's even. That child is your responsibility. If the child has a father that that is doing right, because either the way that fathers operate is that either a father is going to affect the child negatively spiritually or positively spiritually. And most of our Masculine energies believe in the Bible. This is going to consistently put men at the bottom of the totem pole, and you're not going to get the respect and the okay. Sorry, they keep messing with my string. You are not going to get the respect from the divine feminine in that way. You're not. And I know that there's a lot of women that love these over super saturated, masculine men, but this is not the right time. Okay. These people really need to get their priorities straight. Listen, the saddest thing that happened in spiritual history was for women to get caught up in 50 shades of gray hell. While you're caught up in 50 shades of gray hell, they are literally destroying women and children, especially female children. So a lot of that stuff, you got to stay away from that. I know a lot of people like that dark ecstasy stuff, and oh, it's so dark, but I'm telling you, it comes a time where you're going to have to go into the light, baby. Because those things, that to me, that's a dead end. Now, if you, I know a lot of y'all are into the dark goddesses, things like the Adams family. I love Morticia Adams too. I love all of those characters that we have come to love throughout the years. And when you look at the Adams family, this was a sick and twisted couple. I mean, she wanted him to torture her. She wanted him to mentally and spiritually violate and torture her. Y'all remember that on the Addams family? When you actually look at their relationship, just and we all let's see that was a part of the programming, okay? But in reality, unless you're a masochist, let's face it, there's some people that are very masochistic. They enjoy being hurt, they enjoy pain. This is also a perversion because there have been people that have enjoyed pain and suffering so much that they have actually accidentally asphyxiated themselves, or they have cut themselves to the point where they've bled to death, or maybe they have abused certain drugs or abused their bodies so much to the point where and you know what, God still loves you. I'm going to be honest with you. It's one of those things to where but then after a while, I feel like what people are going to have to realize is that if you choose with all of the information that you have, and you choose, because at the end of the day, you're making those choices. Even though they practice mind control, they're not mind controlling you all the time. They're only doing it at certain points and times. You are still choosing. This is how they're getting away with it. If you were a total puppet, then but the fact that you say, "Ooh, that was kind of fun. That felt good. Let's do it again." The fact that you know what I'm saying? So you do make that choice. And so other people that choose to not go down that road, they have the right to walk away from you. They have the right to cut the cord from you. They have the right to defend themselves against you. Okay, because listen, I work with all kinds of spirits, but I am very, very, very particular about what entities I work with. I have them come to me all the time. I banish probably about 80% of the entities that come to me because they're just not to be trusted. They're really not. My spirits, that my spirits, if you are somebody that is not meant for me to help, and you may come in and cause way too much stuff going on in my life, my spirits won't even let you become a client. So but when it comes to your families, you have to stop allowing that demon to control you. Yes, the demon does play on your sympathy. I've seen one just recently. Very demonic, obviously possessed by a demon. All of a sudden, the demon presents itself as being sick. Well, we already knew you were sick. But then I guess we're supposed to feel sorry for the demon. So demons are very tricky, very, very tricky. Okay. And they're liars. They lie a lot. People that are possessed by demons. And see, this is the reason why you have to stay away from certain drugs. Stop doing them party drugs, them street drugs that can open you up to all sorts of bad energies. Right now, the only drug that my spirits approve of that would be considered as a drug would be marijuana. And other herbs. Okay, there's not just marijuana. There's mugwort. There's motherwort. There's devil's shoestring. There's a whole bunch of herbs that do different things. Okay, marijuana is just one of them. Anything man-made like that, like, you know what I'm saying? Any kind of man-made drug, these things can open you up for them demons to take over. So that's why people that do drugs like that, they're never the same. Or either people that you may see be around certain people, they'll never be the same. Like they just change all of a sudden and they become liars. They just, literally, and this is a sign of self-destruction. Okay. But see, this is the thing. If you're surrounded by a bunch of demons that are not going to tell you if you're surrounded by the blind leading the blind, and these demons are, they're not going to tell you, hey, buddy, you may be headed towards self-destruction. So when you think about the Bible, this is an individual relationship with God. This is a test. The Bible is filled with all kind of tests, of course. And why does it end in Revelations? This is an individual thing. If you're going to burn in hell, you're going to burn. Not everybody. So again, it's an individual thing that makes us all up as a collective. Okay. So when you have a large percentage of the collective believing in things, then you're going to see those things manifest. I mean, human beings probably never even knew the concept of rape. What would there need to be rape for? Or murder? What would we be murdering each other for? So, and there's so many different, oh my God, there's so many different ways that they are getting in, and they are making you more susceptible to these demons. Okay. They're using everything. Part of the reason why, from what I can feel, is that it's energy, but it's also that they just like to see people suffer. That's why I don't understand. Well, I do understand. So witches, okay, let's talk to the witches. Witches will conjure spirits to try to make people suffer. That's what they do. Sometimes they conjure demons and spirits, and they cut deals with demons because, oh, I just want to see this person suffer, and it's because they're suffering. Okay, so what you do to other people is what's manifesting inside of you. You're never going to convince us that that everything is all gravy. What you want for others is what you have for yourself. That's why they say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. People always think that beauty has something to do with, the color of your skin or how long or straight your hair is. No, that has nothing to do with beauty. In fact, beauty don't even have nothing to do with looks. Beauty don't even really have nothing to do with looks. Okay. So the way that they're doing it, and just the evil that is happening, just, oh, and the jealousy. And so these are the things that are going to manifest out of that. And because I feel like this, if you a person that's living your life, you doing you ain't running around here jealous of nobody. You don't subscribe to people just so you can go and thumbs down their videos. You're blessed. You don't have to do that. See, the people that are doing that, those people are on the unfortunate end. They're being tricked. They're being told that they winning, but they're actually not. They're losing life and their own life force by the second. That's why they have to have a sacrifice. Now, unfortunately, if you come from a family that has been afflicted, you may not ever be able to trust certain people in your family, ever. And the reason why is because everybody has choices. All human beings have choices. If your family member decides, I am going to do the bidding of this demon, which is to entrap souls as well for your energy, that why would they need to entrap your soul for? Just for the hell of it? No, they do it for your energy. So some of your family members are contributing to you being trapped in chains with that demon. And then some of them will even cut a deal to where they'll say, I'll give my daughter or I'll give my son. They do stuff like that too. So some of y'all have been sacrificed to these demons along with your children. After all, if you have a history, if you have a history in your family of Christian ignorance, then your family member is going to think, well, she had all those children out of wedlock anyway, so they're just bastards anyway. So, let's just use them as because they feed off of the flesh, they feed off of your chakras, they feed off of your energy, especially if you a healer, because healers can regenerate themselves. So people that have the most problems with those demons are healers because they want healing energy. Now, are they going to use that energy to actually heal people? No. No. In fact, healing a small a huge, they take a huge amount of healing energy from people, and it literally only gives them maybe 5 hours tops of happiness. Other than that, those demons go way back down. And so then they have to have it again. So they come back. Feed, feed, feed. They get whatever they get from you. You drained, you tired, and then they're satisfied for a few hours. Now, depending on how your body, your spirit reacts, it depends on how satisfied they're gonna be. So, and it's thank you, Hydra. Yeah, you gotta protect your energy. You have to learn how to protect your energy. Seriously, because listen, it's not, they'll look at me and they'll say, oh, well, Jamila, you're supposed to be a spiritualist. You're not supposed to have all that money. No, I'm supposed to have as much money as it requires for me to support my family. That's what I'm supposed to have. Hello? You supposed to have as much as it takes to support your family. So then what they'll say is they'll say, give me some of that energy. I want some of your energy. I want some of what you got. What? You know what I'm saying? And so it's up to you of whether or not you're going to allow them to feed. Now, sometimes people will think that they feeding, but they didn't get a bit of your energy. And what they'll do is they'll take it and they'll get literally a couple of hours of pleasure from what they've done. And then the next thing you know, they feeling low again because you on a high frequency, they're on a low frequency with that demon. And when they get that higher frequency energy, they feel good for a little while, but then they go right back to being depressed Why am I here? I'm sad. See, this is, suicidal thoughts. All of that is demon possession. Demons love to see people kill themselves. Why? Because if you die, that is the opposite to life. They want to kill life. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I have a lot of faith in our galaxy, in our solar system. They have not been able to kill any life on any of these planets. First of all, there's life on all of these planets that are in our galaxy. There's life on all of them. We're just not meant to see it because they're in another realm. Hello, the Saturn realm. If you try to take your butt up there as an earthling, you're probably just going to obliterate because you're not allowed to go into their you're not allowed to go, and they done totally demonized Saturn, and Saturn is not a demonic planet. None of them are. People demonize what they don't understand. So, like, for example, Saturn, that's another realm that you're going into. You can only travel to these different planets in the astral. Okay, now as humans, we've been trying to do it. As you guys have seen in Mission to Mars, those movies are really interesting for you to look at because it lets you know that there's other life forms. Yeah, absolutely. There's life on the moon. People have got all sorts of crazy ideas about these planets. They say that the moon is a hologram. It's not real. I don't believe that the moon is real. There's life on the moon, very close to us. There's life on the sun. There's life on Uranus. It's just that it's in another realm. If you try to step into those worlds, you'll go into another realm, and yeah, your spirit will exist there as you'll be just a new inhabitant of that planet, but you'll just be in a different form, not in your human form, which would probably scare the hell out of you, which is why, I like things here on Earth. Okay. So I'm cool here. But, so there's a lot that we are confused about, and they wanted to purposely confuse us. That's why they purposely confused you. They came onto the planet Earth and said that your women are not supposed to procreate. Now, the man for the first one of the first men that came across this, this was, I guess, that snake, I guess, that they talk about in the Bible. But you would think that this person would go, wait a minute. No, they had to convince you of that, and they had to tell several lies. They had to tell more lies on top of lies. They had to manipulate people around so that you could be convinced. But it was all just it was all just nothing. It was literally just to trick you. It was all a trick. It was basically glamour. They glamored you, is what they did. And they convinced you to actually go around and say that a child born of a woman is useless and worthless and born in sin and should be killed at death because it's not born into wedlock. Now, I want y'all to really seriously think about this for a second. Marriage is man made, it has nothing to do with nature. But we created all of these things to confuse us. Not we, they created it. They just convinced you by setting up these false scenarios and self-fulfilling prophecies. So let me tell you guys about the self-fulfilling prophecy. What they'll do is they'll tell you things about self. They'll try to convince you of things of self so that you can manifest those things. Now, it's obvious that your mind has to be strong, when dealing with these interdimensional beings, but not everybody is. I mean, I've been noticing these things since I had children, since I had my younger children. I would notice certain things, and things were just off, and it just kind of felt like you was in like what is this? What is this? What is going on here? What is truly going on here? And it took years and years of For some reason, oh, they got y'all, they got so many of us, especially people in my family, um people that share my last name, that Briscoe name. They got so many of them so messed up. They don't know up or down, left from right. Okay, and I say that because they do things to others that they don't want done to them. And then when they get the wake up call, they get upset and they play victim because, and the reason why is because, they're not necessarily um, dealing with, um, reality. They're not exactly dealing with the reality that, you are doing something wrong. They have no idea that they're doing something wrong. Why is that? Okay, why do they have no consciousness at that time that they are doing the things that they're doing when they're doing y'all done seen them. I'm gonna tell y'all something. The demonic attacks that y'all been seeing, that's exactly how it was for years with my own family. I mean, when they get to attacking, you don't recognize nobody. Everybody acting crazy. Y'all notice that? They following you in their cars and looking at you with this demonic look in their face, and your intuition is telling you exactly what you need to know. No, you're not crazy. You're just smart. And but now see, you don't want to go and start doing crazy stuff. You got to keep yourself calm because they will drive you crazy if they can. So this is where the experimentation is coming from. They are experimenting on us. They are using old stuff to get to us. That's why everybody is so wrapped up in, oh, but the Bible, they're not saying it's the Bible, but you might as well just say it. When you hear a man turn on his camera and say, I think we should judge all of these women because they shouldn't have kids out of wedlock. When you see them doing that, that is a biblical occurrence. I can assure you that most single mothers live their lives in peace and quiet. They're not out here screwing up the world. In fact, men, for the most part, even though they get women involved, and they love those women because those women allow them to show and prove their self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you a woman and you running around doing all that patriarchal stuff, running behind a man, see that's why that man like you, because you acting stupid, and he can use you to be stupid, and so he can be right. Oh, I just want to be right. There's some people that these demons, and this is a actual person can do this. I've had people try to manipulate people. No, I'm right about this. I told you that she was going to do this and going to do that. So I'm right about this. So I'm going to keep trying to make this person do this so I can be right. So this again is something that is demonic, because why in the world, you can tell that that person has got to have demonic spirits or being ran. Some of them are being ran by demons. You can even tell because they'll all of a sudden become very robotic. And and it's like you stepping into the twilight zone. And I can't relate to that because it's like, what in the world is going on? Mhm. And it's, well, first of all, what you got to do is you got to take care of yourself spiritually. You got to protect yourself. Start with your protection, but also you have to face that demon. And many people can't do it. And I wouldn't suggest you just doing it by yourself, because that demon is going to be snarling. It's got everybody else in your family scared to death. Scared to death. Do you understand me? And scared of death. Okay? All the time scared of death. When and so that's just like if you are in a family and everybody on drugs and everybody got alcohol, drug, probably everybody crazy, everybody get a crazy check, but you the only one Not saying anything wrong with people that get crazy. I don't want to call it a crazy check. I'm so sorry about that. Okay. But let's say that you did have to do that, because I've been there, done that. Trust me. They have been trying to drive me crazy via my spiritual gifts for years. And guys, they done threw everything at me. They done threw everything at me before, and I ain't even been to the hospital. My spirits they were preparing me for something. Because there was a couple of times I had a couple of real bad anxiety attacks, and I started learning. So I will tell y'all that in our lifetime, there is going to be a point to where we are going to be called to duty in our communities to help and to assist those that are afraid. And we have to be very strong. And many of us, they are preparing us for this, because something is going to go down one day. And depending on how, especially if you're a practitioner or if you are a light worker. Now, a light worker, I mean, whatever you call yourself, light worker, high priestess, witch, you know, depending on what your knowledge is, this is how it's going to manifest for you, or what you have to do to help out. Because a lot of these people, when they do wake up, they're going to be very scared. A lot of people say, "Oh, I wish everybody would just wake up." Well, everybody can't wake up at the same time. That within itself would be dangerous too, because then we would have mass suicides if everybody woke up at the same time. There would be mass murders and suicides. And it is because it's had such a strong hold on some people's minds, that as soon as they come out of it, it creates a cognitive dissonance. So they just say screw it all. Okay. And so that's why we have to watch our leaders. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. These people that we got as our so-called leaders, those ain't the leaders. They're not. They're not doing nothing but making things worse. So the one thing that I will tell you is, for you guys to understand, that if you're all of a sudden feeling psychically attacked, if you're feeling like you're in chains, if you're feeling like I can't move forward, I just want to live good in my life, but I can't move forward, I feel blocked. That is why us witches have created a system that will give you freedom from that. And it is actual real freedom. However, these things are universal at this point. I have to explain to people all the time that these frequencies and these entities and demons are being set free into the world every single day to terrorize and torment you. Um, this is universal. Okay. So we're partially dealing with a non-human race, but then again, we're also dealing with genocidal human beings. Does that make sense? So when you combine the two of those, that's like hell hooking up with hell. Hell meets hell to create more hell. And now the way that you deal with the experimentation is going to depend on you. I do know that if your intuition is telling you something that somebody may be sending to you, I don't care who it is, it could be your mother. Make sure that you get those things confirmed. If the enemy is hidden or interdimensional, Yeah, witchcraft absolutely works on interdimensional beings. That's why they told you not to practice witchcraft. They told you not to practice it. They told you that witches were evil because they didn't want witches to mess up their master plan. Look, a witch is a woman. She's a creator. She's a divine goddess. That's what witch is. Witch is not even a bad term. They only made it bad because they demonized everything and flipped every damn thing upside down. They told you, I ain't even gonna get into that because that's too much controversy. I want to stay away from that subject. But I will have to address that subject. But there's other people that are addressing that other subject that I'm not going to mention. Okay. But what I can tell you is that on this planet, we don't need to change anything. That's the problem. They've been trying to change things way too much. The way that the goddess designed it is fine. All this extra stuff. You think that the goddess created pedophilia and demons that attack babies? I've been at war with these people for the past, oh, wow. I've been at war with them for at least the past several years, guys, because I came on and I said, wait a minute. If you are a man that decides to rape a newborn baby, then we need to put you to death. And there was some pedophile apologists that got angry at me. You think that in nature, a big grown 6-foot man in nature is going to have the pedophilia, all this stuff going on, but they want it to be accepted into nature. They do. They want that to be accepted into nature. That they use Michael Jackson, they use so many different important figures of ours to get us to accept that, and it has nothing to do with creation. It wouldn't even make any sense. How can a newborn baby make a baby? A newborn baby is going to give birth to your child, really? And you're going to. So you see what I'm saying? You see how they have perverted the minds of people. And I've been getting attacked ever since I said that. Ever since I said that the people in that village, those men, because that's what I would do if I were still queen, I would behead all of them and burn their bodies. If it and that's the way that we got stuff done back in the day. These days, everybody trying to, but see, people, yeah. But listen, y'all, they got mad at me because I said that you should do away with a man, a grown 30-something-year-old man having sex with a newborn baby. They said that I was wrong for saying that he should die. And that's why I've been getting stalked ever since. In fact, these disgusting people, oh my God. It's not just people, it's demons. So you understand how, and then also, they turned our men into predators. Okay. We can see all of this manifesting. So the experimentations that they are doing on you guys right now, the biggest one is to get you to separate from your children. Because when they're able to do that, and they want them young, not old, no, they want them young. And so that's why many of us that are still in our 40s and our mother is still going to that demon saying, my daughter is a lot of y'all whose mothers is still going to that demon trying to sell you out. The demon's like, she's contracting your children now because you done got too old. Or some of y'all ain't too old. Ain't none of us ever too old to be fed on. But they are messing with your children, so be careful. What they do is they psychically attack the children. They get the children to misbehave. They are abusing our children in spirit. Okay, they are the cause for a lot of this autism. Yes, they are. I said it. Thank you, Goddess. I said it. When I look at autistic children, it's quite obvious that these are children that are special, that are being possessed by something, a spirit. You can tell that it's a spirit. A lot of people won't agree with me on that, but you know what? I believe it. And it's funny how autism seems to want to affect certain bloodlines, certain people. And if it were environmental, then why is it not affecting everybody? Well, the younger that they are, the more susceptible that they are. That's why these days you can't really say spare the rod, spoil the child. Because if you just sit and spank your kid for every damn thing that they do, your kid just gonna be spanked all the time. You just gonna. So obviously that's not the way to deal with it. We were told that in the Bible, and many of us still carry that within us, that we're gonna beat the demon out of the kid. You can't beat a demon out of a person. You'll end up harming the person. So a lot of the times, many of us, it has a lot to do with privilege, because please believe that if you were among the witches that are very, very strong because they mamas and they grandmamas wasn't playing. It's a lot of these witches out here, they are strong. They got they got fields and fields of they got farms, they got fields of wheat and fields of corn. These are very, very strong witches. Their bloodline ain't that ain't happening to them. You know why it's not happening to certain people? Because they were smart. They were strong. Now, this our generation, my generation, we can get that back with our daughters and our children as witches, as long as we know what we're doing. We got to stay on the path. You can make the next generation stronger just by knowing the truth and knowing how to deal with it. Okay. And so a lot of us are simply, yeah, unfortunately, when you have a spiritually weak parent, which a lot of them were. But see, now that you're a parent, you can make the difference in your children's lives. You can. It doesn't have to be the way that it was, when your parents was raising you. Okay, it doesn't have to be the way that it was. You can make the difference, and definitely stop repeating these generational habits and stuff, and the way that you talk to each other and the way that you communicate. And they did absolutely mess up our communication with each other. That's why people don't know how to talk to their own family members without yelling, screaming, and shouting and fighting. Um, what you have to do is you have to tell, and you cannot look, everything that demon tries to take from you or tell you that you can't have, because at the end of the day, the reason why it wants to mess with your food, your water, and your shelter is because if your food, your water, and your shelter, if those things are up to their optimal, okay, if those things are up to their optimum for you, and you've got that, that foundation, then your energy is going to be so much different, and then they can't touch you. So that's why they want to try to deny you of certain things. They cannot deny you. Okay, They can only delay you, but only if you allow that delay, and it depends on the situation. Forgive yourself and give yourself time to heal. And don't worry about what nobody else is saying. Okay, because the words that people are speaking to you in these chat rooms and all of that, I had somebody trying to use the Jedi mind trick on me earlier, trying to make me feel like I'll never be a homeowner. See, this is what that, and you know why? Because if you're a woman and you're not a homeowner, then you might be more susceptible to being owned by a man, especially if you got bad credit and you out here and you just renting your houses just from anybody and then he own you. See, when you own your own property and you own your own land, you have power. They want to take away every bit of power that you have, even over yourself, which is sad. They'll lose. They already lost. That's why they tossing and turning in the bed tonight. They're gonna wake up mad and angry at you because they know that you done, done something to free yourself. That's why they got mad because I went house hunting today. A house hunting video of a person, a mother, getting a house for her children. With that fostered in a dislike, you hate that. You don't like that. Okay, well then, I feel bad for you that that demon is doing that to you. But okay, okay. So guys, be happy. Okay. If that thing is making you unhappy, this is the reason why when people come to get my cleanses and stuff, I always send you a bunch of happy spirits. People are like, oh my God, I'm so happy. Yeah, I can't believe I feel this way. And that is because you have to know and have access to the spirit realm. I talk to demons all the time. They don't have the power that you don't give them. Okay. So when I'm faced with a demon, for example, every time I do work for y'all, I have to face certain demons when I do work for you. And you know what? That stuff can manifest within me in many different ways. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's more so just the gift of sight that I have because I can, especially being an empath. So, and I think being an empath is a very powerful gift to have because, you if it because the first thing that if a spirit comes to you and you feel wrong and you feel some type of way, see, empaths are less likely to be possessed and completely overtaken because they're going to know how they normally feel. They're going to know a person that is less empathic, they're going to kind of not really have the consciousness or the sight, to be connected to themselves in that way. So this is the reason why I can feel certain things. I'll call my clients and be like, you got a headache? Yep, I've been having a headache all day. And that's because I can pick up on it through spirit. Spirit will kind of, give me a headache a little bit. So when I do work for you guys, I'm actually facing that demon. Everybody, please don't go out there. I've told people, there's been people that have been trying to do cleanses. They stop doing it very quickly. Because when you do a cleanse on somebody, what do you think that you're doing? You think that you're just like you're just throwing water at them? No, you're literally exorcising a demon and telling it to go away. If you don't have the power to tell a demon to get the hell on, then it's not going to get the hell on. It's going to continue to stay there and torment you and your client. Okay. Now, cleanses are temporary sometimes, guys. You have to actually deal with the actual contract, which it doesn't happen overnight. You can't change something that has been happening your whole lifetime, and even in your previous lifetime. You can't, maybe not in the previous, but more than likely it did happen. You can't change that in a moon cycle. That's not gonna, if you've got all these challenges and issues within your family and your bloodline, it's not gonna happen overnight. And what you have to do is you just have to make sure that you are asking questions, My clients know that they can contact me at any time that they want with questions. Never be afraid to ask questions. I always have an answer for you. And if I don't have one, I'll let you know. Let me talk to Spirit about it. I'll get back with you. Okay. And just know that this is a very serious situation because they threw a spirituality and a religion at you that was so preposterous that it made you not believe in yourself at all. And that is the power, and the power that Christianity was supposed to have over people. It was supposed to be so preposterous and ridiculous that you were supposed to question God, which is essentially yourself. But then again, it also made a lot of people not have any trust in God or in themselves for that matter. So this had a very dangerous psychological and spiritual effect on people, on everybody. So this is the reason why you'll wake up in the morning and you'll be feeling just fine, but then a group of people will go, "Hey, look at those people over there. They're feeling just fine. They shouldn't be feeling fine. Why? Because their children are bastards that were born out of wedlock." And so then that is when the ignorance kicks in, and then that is when, that's when you go through it all over again. Just it's a cycle. Okay. Yeah. So guys, understand that it's not just your enemy that you work with. Yes, unfortunately, demons that are attached to you, they can absolutely attach. I'm sorry, hold on, guys. These demons can absolutely, hold on. Sorry, guys. These demons can absolutely attach to people that don't like you. Is it normal for somebody that doesn't like you to stalk you for 4 or 5 years? No, that's demonic. And it lies too and thinks of excuses as to why it should stalk you. Makes up the excuse to stalk you. Okay. And then as a human being, let me tell you something. 5 years from now, those people that was running around hee and ha ha and possessed and totally out of their mind, they're gonna have to deal with the aftermath of what they did. That's the only way. Everybody has to reap what they sow. Okay. Now, if you are somebody that is being attacked by these demons, you can see a spiritualist and they will be able to see them. More than likely, it is attached to your bloodline. But again, these things are happening universal. So you can have the best family in the world. You can have a supportive family. Your mother can love you so much that, but at the end of the day, um, you know, y'all know what I'm trying to say. I'm starting to get kind of tired, y'all. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. Make sure that you guys hit that thumbs up. Listen, I realize that when people start talking the way that I talk, that the first thing that the demon wants to tell you is that the person is crazy. That's actually a compliment because, if I were not crazy, I wouldn't have survived it. To be honest with you, so crazy can sometimes be a good thing, but it is very, very real and it affects people every single day. So some people don't feel comfortable with talking to, like, for example, when I'm doing work for you and your ancestors show up, I'll sit there and talk to them. Now, this is an invisible being that's not there. So many people would be embarrassed to be talking to something that you can't see. Not Jamila, because I understand that at that point I am communicating, and this is what's going to actually bring about the positive changes that you need in your life. Okay. So, spiritualist, They may be a little out there or whatever with their beliefs, but for some reason, and for a good reason, a lot of us are telling the truth. And, many of us that'll tell you the truth, will be, for example, then I'm going to tell you something. They experimented on me by trying to scare me into thinking that they were going to steal my children from me. Now, there were a few times where I got really upset about it the first couple of times that it happened. It was really horrible. But then after a while, I became very diplomatic about the situation and I handled my business legally. You cannot break down and allow them to scare you and allow them to make you think. Now, unless you're somebody that, is doing something wrong to your family, then obviously, you would be breaking down because, your conscience is getting to you. Because, but if you're somebody that's doing the right thing and you just kind of chilling, trying to, raise your family, why should you be upset? That's why I always tell people that's the first thing that you cannot do. Unfortunately, you can't continue to allow these beings to upset you. Because at that moment that you're upset and you're yelling and you're screaming, and I'm talking about yelling and screaming and out of control. Um, I am not talking about when you are speaking strongly about a subject because whenever a woman raises her voice, they tell us to be quiet and be a lady when we should be shouting. We should be shouting it. Yes, we should, and speaking very firmly. But when you're in that mode of being upset, that thing is feeding off of you, and you're feeding a demon, especially when you arguing over something that that's sad. That's why I quit doing it. Seeing people argue over something that never happened and never existed. We're going to sit and actually argue and actually pretend that's something that a demon made up, that's a lie. We're going to sit around and that's how it tricks you to sit around and argue over something that ain't even real, or something that damn thing done made up. Excuse me. And you gonna sit around and waste all your energy on some made up stuff. That's what it's resorted to doing. It will do that out of desperation because it needs to be fed bad. It does, And with women, they are harvesting souls from us. Is the last thing Spirit wants you to know. Yes, there is a such thing as spirit babies. They are harvesting souls and spirits. They are creating souls and spirits with us in the spirit realm. Okay. And these, energies that are being created within the woman's body, these souls are being taken. They are. That they're creating them and then they're taking them. So somebody was asking me about spiritual rape and about demons. Yeah, demons will make a baby with you in the astral, and they'll eat their own babies. These particular demons, they will eat their own children. Yes, they will. And be happy about it too. So, that's why women in particular have to be very, very careful out here. And this is also the reason why women are demonized because we do have the ability to procreate. Or we just going to say, oh, forget it because of these demons. Let's just kill off the human population. No, that's not what the divine goddess is going to do. She's going to attempt to save as many of us as possible. Okay. So, and also on the last thing that I want to say to you guys is that women, y'all got to do better than running around here arguing about whose booty is bigger. Stop it. Stop it. They have reduced you to nothing as a woman. All women should be joined in hands. If you are not, you are a disgrace to this planet. Period. If you are not a divine goddess that is joining hands for the initiative to save this planet and the people on it, then Mother Earth sees you as a disgrace. And no wonder you don't want to be here because she don't want you here either. Because this place was not meant to be a prison. They made it that way. But for you to blame Mother Earth and for you to blame it on the Earth realm and all of that stuff, man, that's just ridiculous, okay? So, she's going to protect those who protect her and love her and trust her. And like I told y'all, yes, the divine goddess has been manifesting herself. You can go look up all the many, many videos. There's been many apparitions in the past couple of weeks since the new year. Okay. I will see you guys later. I love you guys, love and light. And if you guys need to reach me for a reading, the link to my website is below. And I will see y'all later. Okay. Love and light.